Good morning, welcome back. This is Daybreak on Citizen Television. Thank you for staying with us. Now getting to the discussion to discuss the major highlights of the publications and the topical debate on the Finance Bill 2023. With me in the studio is on my far right, Fred Okango, the Secretary to the Azimio Coalition. Thanks for your time. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, and thank you so much for
Next to him is the Senator representing Murang'a County, John Yutu. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Senator. And his counterpart from the county of Kisii, Richard Onyonka, on my immediate right. Thank you, Senator, for making.
Good morning, morning.
And good morning to you as well. Let's begin with the growing concerns and what the paper on the front page, The Standard, calls the rebellion amongst MPs in Mount Kenya. This, as yesterday, more unions warned lawmakers against the proposed taxes, calling on the National Assembly not to pass the proposed bill, the Finance Bill 2023, if it's not amended. Senator Onyonka, beginning with you. I mean, how does the government address the growing rebellion against the taxes, which is commensurate with the government's insistence on the Finance Bill 2023, saying that it must pass Parliament?
Thank you. First of all, I'm happy to see you because we haven't met in the studio before. I want to tell you this. There's nothing that is going to happen. This bill will pass. Mm-hmm. Why? This team, KK Alliance, they have got the majority. And the truth and the reality is that I'm sure the president is monitoring what everybody's doing. Why? Because he wouldn't want, for the first time, his wish to be thwarted, and that is to make sure that the bill passes. Whether the bill is going to be popular with Kenyans right now, the bill is extremely unpopular. But the president has an agenda. The president had a manifesto. In fact, the joke we make amongst us in the opposition is how we wish Kenyans would just give Ruto what he wants. Because if Kenyans are complaining, they elected him.
Okay.
So for us, we are saying, let him increase the tax to 100%. Because Kenyans need to understand, like it has been said before, choices do have consequences. Kenyans are now going, I believe, to sit down and begin to look at ourselves. When we are choosing a presidency, when we are picking a candidate, actually, what does the manifesto say? Mm-hmm. And what this team says is really what people should vote for. And right now in Kenya, we are not voting for anything. In other words, whatever that President William Ruto is doing, in my thinking, deserves the Kenyan public. Because Ruto came in, there are things which he used to say. We in the opposition used to find them outrageous. Okay. We knew it would never work out. But look at where we are now. Every single thing that he talked about that he would do has got a reversal of exactly what he was going to see. He said there will be no taxes. Look at what he's asking for. Okay. He said the fuel for prices. You remember when he was talking about fuel for prices? I mean, prices for fuel?
Yes.
Look at what happened. What has happened since he took over. Come to when he was talking about mabwenyenyo wanajichagua wanataka kwenda kutengeneza makazi kama rafiki zao na nini. Look at what is happening. We are having a bloated cabinet when everybody is saying we need to have carefulness, we need to change our style, we need to reduce our largesse, we need to stop this thing of wastage in our country.
Okay, and Senator, when you talk about and those specific remarks,
yes,
the president made then as a presidential candidate on the 26th of July last year during the presidential debate.
Yes.
But you seem to be not having confidence and hope in Parliament, yet it's the institution that has been constitutionally placed as the stopgap measure to check on the excesses of the executive. I mean, where is the loose link here? Is it because they don't think and read through this to understand that the public it's not popular among the public, or is it a case of just shepherding them who serve the interests of the political party and its leadership rather than the public?
The point we keep making, we in the opposition, is this. What makes Kenyans vote the way we do? Why is it that frequently and constantly we keep saying how we keep making mistakes? Whether it's from the MCA, come to the Member of Parliament, move that to the governors, go to the national level. Why is it that we actually don't elect people who eventually deliver for us? The reason for me is that the political parties we have have nothing to do with the manifestos that we bring out for Kenyans. The manifesto is just a charade, is a document used for political expediency so that then people can come up and convince the Kenyan public that now vote for us. Now, once the voting has taken place like it has, and I said it's a joke, so I hope Kenyans don't think I'm saying let's increase the taxes. Once somebody has been elected the way President William Ruto has been elected, whatever that he's doing, Kenyans deserve it. Because we were electing a president so that Kenya can change. So that Kenya can grow, so that Kenya can get itself out of the mess it is. But and look at it now. You have got a country that is in debt, but the president wants to incur more debt.
But Senator, when that responsibility passes from the public, we have parliament in place, and that has been my question. Then what's the point? Because there are in 416 members of the bicameral parliament, you senators included. What's the point then if they can't check on the executive at the best interest of the public?
Thank you. The structure that we have right now, we have a parliament that is pro the executive. The members of parliament, including many of us in the Senate, and even many members of the county assemblies where we come from, they do not understand that they are supposed to check the president. They do not understand, many of our members don't understand that once you've come to the National Assembly, you can actually pass a law which is against your party, but which is pro-Kenya. And you can explain to your voters, if my voters call and tell me, no, please, Senator Onyonka, mobilize the people because we think if we give the president the taxes, then it will be easy for him to manage our affairs. I can actually vote against the party. It's allowed in democracy, but we have not understood this in our Kenyan democracy per se. That's why you hear me saying, we have not understood that this democracy that we keep on working with is not supposed to be do or die. That we must agree that some of us will be defeated, some of us will win. And once the government that takes power, that government must understand that my job as an opposition senator is to oversight them and to talk how things are not working.
Thank you. Senator John Nyuto, coming to you. There seems to be a dilemma to just quote two members of parliament from the Mount Kenya region. Gathoni wa Mushomba, the Githunguri lawmaker, says, I quote her, the bill is punitive and oppressive to the same hustler who gave us the mandate representing them in government. Her counterpart from the constituency of Gatanga, Edward Murio, says government must restore lost trust of the public so that they get assurance that money collected will be put into good use. That is now aside as to the management of the money that will be collected if, say, this bill is passed by the National Assembly. But there seems to be the growing discontent, not only among the leadership, but also among Kenyans. What's your position?
Thank you very much, Ayub. And I think right from the onset, I want to say that the Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba is entitled to her democratic right of, expressing herself about what she feels and about what maybe her interaction with the people of Githunguri has maybe brought out. But one thing I would want to correct is this particular headline on the Standard today that there's rebellion amongst Mount Kenya MPs. I think this is actually alarmist, and I don't think it's amongst MPs because from what you have said, the only person as we speak that maybe thinks that the bill will not serve the interests of Kenyans in Mount Kenya, I think is the Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba. And so if this, if the Standard was going to be fair, then it should have been saying that there is rebellion. And I don't actually think that Gathoni wa Mushomba is rebelling. She's just expressing her views on the bill, and that is not rebellion. As for Gatanga MP Edward Mureu, I think you have rightly put it that he's just saying that we need to build more confidence that when we levy any charges or taxes on the people, that we should then go ahead and see to it that the same such raised revenue then is expended in a way that people will be comfortable with. Because I think we do not have a problem with the problem we have rather is that when people maybe feel that you maybe are collecting revenue and not delivering services in the way they expect, then I think we have a problem. But all having been said and done, and I don't know whether that is within what you would want me to respond to, but if you allow me, I think I want to thank Senator Onyonka, because for the first time, I have had a member from the Azimio admitting very well that the president, William Samoei Ruto, was elected. And he has confirmed that twice. And so I think, just a minute, Senator Onyonka, just a minute.
Let him make his submissions.
Let me finish. And so I want to thank him because I think from his side and from, the leadership of his side, there has been like, that kind of complaint, and people have been like, some of them have even actually not been referring to the president as president.
Okay, the legitimacy question.
The legitimacy question.
But before you go, we'll talk about that because the bipartisan talks will be happening. There will be a parliamentary group meeting for Azimio. But on to the question.
Yes.
The constant factor in this equation and the talk that we're having this morning are the Kenyan people.
Yes.
And Gathoni, for example, she's just a minutiae.
Yes.
Agreed. But she says this bill will be punitive and oppressive to the same hustler who gave the mandate. And you campaigned on that as your springboard to get the mandate of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
And out of the more than 1,000 memorandums which were submitted to the Committee on National Finance and National Planning of the National Assembly, more than 970 have rejected the proposals as contained in the finance bill. I mean, I just want to understand your position.
Well, my position is that, of course, any time that you are paying, it's painful. And Ayub, this is as old as humankind. You remember even in the biblical times, you remember people that used to collect taxes. People like Zakayo, tax collectors. In fact, people were very mad with them. And at one point, I remember people actually complained that Jesus was, keeping the company of tax collectors, because for them, tax collectors were public enemies. And so, anytime any one of us, including ourselves, when we are expected to maybe carve out something more or dig deeper into our pockets, of course, it's painful. And so I want to agree with Gathoni and in fact everybody else that it is going to be painful paying more. It is painful. Nobody enjoys, paying. Okay. But then we have a mandate to deliver.
All right.
The Kenya Kwanza government has a mandate to deliver. Okay. There are services to be offered. We need money. We cannot continue borrowing.
All right.
We have to raise it locally.
Thank you.
And that is a balance maybe we should be talking about.
Point noted. And we'll talk about the prudence of the money that we have collected, because Kenyans have been paying taxes since independence.
That's right.
And the prudence use of public resources. Fred, the opposition made clear the position of the coalition political party on the Finance Bill 2023. Today there will be a parliamentary group meeting. I mean, going forward then, how will your members do the practical bit of what's needed on the floor of the National Assembly in making clear their position on the Finance Bill?
Thank you, Ayub. I am very disappointed this morning. I'm disappointed after listening to my good senator here that the government must get money through heavy taxation. As Azimio coalition, we have put our position clear. We have made it clear all before that this is a bad bill. This bill is a bitter pill that is being forced down the throat of Kenyans. This bill must be rejected to save this country. This bill is going to wipe out the middle class. This bill is going to finish the poor. This bill is not even good for their hustlers, that the people that they call hustlers. This is a regime that came into office by the virtue that they claim to have given proposals to support the lowly placed.
Okay.
We were shocked as Azimio that they are the same people that they came up with a punitive finance bill that is taxing everything, everyone, everywhere. We want to say this morning that our position remains the same. We have said that this bill, we shall reject it. And we have said, because the people of Kenya are wise enough and they have asked their representatives not to pass this bill, including in the regions that they believe they control the KK themselves. Wamuchomba has said that days are gone when the government word was final. She has listened to the people of Githunguri, and the people of Githunguri have told Wamuchomba, don't pass that punitive bill. My good friend Edward Muriu, we always appear with him here, has said that we must restore themselves now, the lost trust. It means in only 8-9 months, the regime of Kenya Kwanza has lost the trust of the public, and more so by pushing a punitive bill that is going to injure the public. Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party, we have our PG this morning.
Okay.
The leadership will speak, and we know for sure that this bill, in the unlikely event that they push it and it passes,
okay,
we have said before, Ayub, it will be their bill, it will be not the people of Kenya's bill, it will be them, Kenya Kwanza, strangling Kenyans.
What do you mean it will be their bill?
It will be
Parliament
their
is a
bill
representation of the Kenyan people.
The people who are represented on the floor, they have said, yourself you have just said, that out of the public participation that was done, 75% have said reject. Those are people who are represented in the floor. So majority of the floor members have said reject the bill through the people that they represent. Kenya is a sovereign state, Ayub. And that power that the people have, okay, they can exercise directly or indirectly. In this one, we would even want to encourage the public to even tell their members of member of parliament to sign a public pledge, okay, that should you pass that bill, then you will meet the wrath of the people. Because, Ayub, let me tell you, as I finish on this part, this bill, we were told sometimes back that the government never loses. And they assured Honorable Ruto that the bill will pass. So, and my good friend here has said, they will pass the bill. Whatever happens, they'll pass it. Do you know what that means? It means that this is a pill that is being forced down your throat. Take it or leave it. Kenyans have said, yesterday, the union, public servant union, demonstrated in town. They demonstrated their displeasure with this bill. Those are public representatives. They represent the union. The public who appeared before the finance committee, they have said, okay, please reject this bill. This regime has two options. Option number one, amend this bill and factor in the views of the public as a way of performing effective public participation. Okay. Number two, meet the wrath of the people. The people are waiting for them because this is the bill that is going to wipe out, okay, the poor, that is going to finish the middle class. This is a bad bill that must be rejected.
Thank you. Dr. John Mutunga joins us. He is the Member of Parliament, Tigania West. Daktari, thank you for your time. As well, chairs the Agriculture Committee of the National Assembly.
Yes.
On Tuesday last week, you were at State House where the President had made clear his case on why he wants this bill passed. On Sunday, the day before yesterday, he spoke in Busia County where he said this is unstoppable. When you were at the parliamentary group meeting at State House, were you convinced as a member of parliament by the president who leads the executive, and were compelling reasons given for you to support that bill at the floor of the House? Or if you have reservations, any, can you state here?
Thank you very much indeed, and apologies for coming in late. I want to correct that it is the president who presented the bill to us. I want to indicate that as Kenya Kwanza, we discuss and agree. We interrogate an issue, we give our contributions, and our contributions are taken seriously and positively. So we discussed that bill to a large extent. There are very many things that Kenyans do not know. Things like when you hear 3% payment, for instance. Let me just talk about increasing the pay as you earn from 30 to 35%. We've been paying that percent. But there's a capping up to $500,000. Those who earn $500,000 and above will pay that 5% on what is above 500,000. Those who earn 500,000 and above will pay that 5% on what is above 500. On the other hand, you come back to this fund which is being created. Okay,
Dr. Before you proceed to the fund, okay, you'll proceed. I'll give you the time so that you prosecute your case. Just specifically on the 500,000 Kenya shillings.
Yes.
The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics pegs that number at a very low, and the revenue you can generate from people who earn more than 500,000 at the 35% you have said the taxation will give you about between 45 billion Kenya shillings. What impact will this have in terms of our tax collection?
It is 45 billion that we do not have right now. It's 45 billion that we are forced to borrow. For us to fund the previous, the current budget, the one that the 2022-23 budget, we needed 1.1 trillion borrowing. We needed to borrow about 1.1 trillion. This has been scaled down to around, let's say, 600, because the government has looked for ways of trying to reduce this and to cap the borrowing in terms of waiving or maybe forfeiting. And trying to reduce the amount of money that we need to look for in order to cost development in this country by 300 billion. The declared was around 9 billion, and declared was around 2 or so billion again. So when you look at that, if any shilling is useful in this country, it is a country which is going through a very difficult situation. The economic situation is really hard. All of us know that. And let's not just talk as if we are living in an island. And let's not use very huge statements. The bill is punitive, the government is killing its people, we are wiping out the middle class. Those are political statements we are making. Let's look at this particular issue in terms of what benefits does it have, and what kind of, what are the do's and don'ts? What are the punitive issues? Let's pick them out. This bill creates a situation where those who earn more can produce or can pay a little bit more. This bill creates a situation where there is waiver of taxes in some of the areas that have not grown. There is a tax exemption in some areas, and then there is a substitution from where we hand, for instance, zero rating of VAT in certain commodities to tax exemption, which means that we cannot therefore go back to the government and demand or rather seek for payment of the VAT from the raw materials that we use, the procurement of the raw materials. There are so many issues that are good in this particular bill. But because we are political, we think politics, we believe politics, drink, eat politics, sleep politics, that is the reason why anything coming from the government is always bad. I have looked through this bill, I have read through it, and I think I understand. The bill is not bad. The bill is good.
We'll talk about this specific.
We will try to pass it the moment it comes.
Senator, you respond to that. I'll give you the time. We need to pay some bills. When we get back from the break, Senator, I'll take your account and of course do a follow-up on what the lawmaker representing Tigania West did say in his remarks. We as well welcome your contributions. The hashtag on Twitter is Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. We are back with more after the break here on the broadcast. Stay tuned.